All right, let's dive into a truly grim, dark fable today. We are exploring the metaphysical void known as the Temporal Library. Now imagine a place that doesn't just hold books, but actually tries to catalog you. A place where time doesn't just tick away. It compresses, it swallows you whole, and reorders your very existence based on this ancient, icy logic. We're stepping right into the profound, mythic story of Sir Brain, his companion Alara, and their terrifying encounter with the edges of unbound time. It's a fascinating story of sacrifice, cold machinery, and human warmth. So let's jump right in.
Okay, let's dive into this by starting at the chronological beginning of our story, right at the edge of the workshop. Sir Brain gives Alara this incredibly chilling warning. He says, "The library swallowed years without mercy and tried to catalog me as just another annotated specimen." I mean, wow, this is clearly not some passive archive, right? It's a temporal trap, one that literally stole 10 years of his life previously. So Sir Brain is standing there, speaking with the full heavy weight of what he calls the absolute ice, looking at Alara, his blind companion. He's making it crystal clear. She absolutely cannot follow him into the temporal tear. It's just way too dangerous for her.
To really grasp the metaphysical stakes of this scene, we kind of have to look at it through the lens of a Fichtean dialectic. Basically, a clash of two opposing forces striving for a resolution. On one side, we have our thesis, the absolute ice. This represents Sir Brain's experience and the cold, totally unyielding nature of the temporal library. And pushing against that is our antithesis, Alara's honest pulse, her quiet insistence, her humanity, her internal warmth. As Alara reaches for the door, insisting on following him, Sir Brain closes his fingers gently over hers. It's this beautiful, physical grounding moment, a moment of profound human connection, right there on the precipice of a metaphysical void. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the core emotional conflict it sets up. The library is driven by this cold need to abolish time and file people away. You can think of it as the universe's most aggressive, introverted archivist. It demands absolute, static isolation. But Alara's warmth, her honest pulse, it actually leaves what the text calls a warm fracture in Sir Brain's will. She literally leaves residual warmth in his palm. And because the library's eternal cataloging system relies entirely on cold, unchanging order, this human connection, it's a violent contamination. It disrupts the static eternal catalog and creates a shared scar. This isn't just a touching emotional beat, it's a metaphysical variable that the library is absolutely going to react to.
Before he actually steps forward, we need to understand the rules of the void he's entering. It's a state called unbound folios. Inside the library, the ordinary day-to-day succession of hours is completely abolished. Time behaves in totally bizarre ways. A single breath, literally just one breath, can encompass a century of oxidation. Turning a single page compresses an entire decade. This is a logic older than any mechanical god, and honestly, this is exactly why Alara's honest pulse could never survive in there. If she crossed over, her vibrant, living rhythm would just be instantly filed away among these drifting, unbound volumes. She'd be lost to an eternal twilight.
So as Sir Brain turns toward the thinning air, the second tier opens up. And the imagery here is striking, like a wound waiting for its original maker. But here's the twist. This is a sentient threshold. It's not just a doorway you walk through, it's an active, judging entity. The void itself is evaluating his internal rhythm. It actually senses the hunger and the caution of his internal dark fire. Almost like a stark panel in a graphic novel, the patient cold of the threshold actually recoils. It recognizes that residual warmth Alara just left in his palm. It views this lingering human connection as a massive disruption to its static catalog. The threshold is literally offended by it.
Let's move to and see how this builds, because the source text frames this encounter as a really dramatic descent through 4 sequential parables. It's almost mythological. First, we have the recognition, where the cold edges of the wound pulse and actually recoil from Alara's warmth. Then, the judgment, this unordered silence pouring out, actively evaluating his rhythm. Third is the vision, where he gets this fleeting, terrifying glimpse of shelves stretching into an eternal twilight, which confirms the library still remembers him. And finally, the 4th parable brings everything to a grinding, dramatic halt.
So the crucial point is the climax of this dialectic, the sentient refusal. As Sir Brain leans forward to see more clearly into that twilight, the 4th parable just closes around him. The tear contracts with absolute, deliberate precision. It completely seals itself. The synthesis of our dialectic here is rejection. The library is so deeply offended by the contamination of the honest pulse, that lingering human warmth on his skin, that it views him as an unfinished book. It actively decides, nope, not ready to reread you. The air just smooths over, leaving only a faint violet afterimage of his dark fire. He is completely denied entry.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer genius of their preparation. Because they actually anticipated this kind of reaction from the absolute ice, they didn't go in blind. Rather than risking human life, they bridged the metaphysical void using mechanical sentinels, a clockwork snow owl and an android. These machines created a totally safe, continuous, bidirectional flow of data. Every tiny shift in temperature, every hesitation from the library, and ultimately the exact record of this refusal was captured directly into their calculating engine. The owl unfolds a wing, the android inclines its head, and amazingly, the ordinary workshop tasks just continue in the background. They successfully protected Alara's life from being swallowed by the drifting volumes while still getting the data. Incredible.
All of this brings us to a rather chilling final thought. We've seen how the temporal library demands absolute icy isolation. To the point of rejecting a traveler simply for carrying the residual warmth of another human being. It views us as mere annotated specimens, unfinished books, just waiting to be filed away into eternity. So it leaves us with this really provocative question. If the temporal library views us as unfinished books, what exactly must we sacrifice to complete the story? Are we really willing to surrender the honest pulse, our human connections, our shared scars, our literal warmth, just to achieve historical immortality in the absolute ice? It's a dark, compelling thought to leave you with. Thanks so much for joining me to unpack this incredible grim dark fable. Keep questioning the text, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.